Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Sports Extra. I'm your host Ahmed Nawaz with the latest roundup of sports today. There's a lot to discuss. We start off with football and we discuss some particular things that have been happening. We start off with the Euros, and of course the quarter-final lineup has been completed. We've discussed a lot on the journey of these teams, but now finally I think we need to have that matchup as well. So we'll talk about how Germany are going to be facing Spain, England face Switzerland, France themselves are in a particular position as they face Portugal. So it's very interesting, and Turkey for the for the fun of it, and if you see it as well, the football that they have played, and they're up against the Netherlands. So it's all quality football on offer for the Euros quarter-final lineup. Then we move on to the Copa America. Knockout stage bracket is set now. Argentina is all set to play in their quarter-final as well against Ecuador. Then we've got Venezuela facing Canada, Colombia take on Panama, and Uruguay to face Brazil, which I think probably is going to be one of the best games of the Copa so far. So we'll talk about that, and then we move on to the world champions of cricket who are playing together. The World Championship of Legends 2024, Pakistan champions have defeated Australian champions by 5 wickets. They chased their target of 119 in the last over. Yunus Khan, absolutely clinical. What a performance. He scored a half century. Misbah-ul Haq was amongst the runs as well. Amongst the wickets, we had stellar performances from our spin duo of Shahid Afridi and Saeed Ajmal. So they were amongst the wickets as well. It was great. It was almost nostalgic seeing all of these players once again, especially, like I said, Yunus Khan. What a spectacular knock he had as well. So we'll talk about that. Then we move on to the Pakistan Cricket Board, which has all eyes on it now, because the chairman PCB had a brief conversation with the journalists, and he really opened up about what's going to happen next. He clearly blamed the selection, and he said that the selection is the real problem when we talk about the World Cup. He also said that the skipper made some mistakes as well, but we're not changing the skipper so far. Talked about fitness criteria, central contracts, the league cricket where players have been focusing. There's a lot that we're going to be discussing regarding cricket on the show today as well. So time now to introduce our guest. First of all, we've been joined by sports expert, somebody who's a regular part of our programs on our platforms as well, Mr. Malik Usman. Assalamu alaikum. How are you, sir?
Walaikum assalam. I'm doing well.
Thank you for joining us. We've also been joined by football expert Taha Haider. Assalamu alaikum, Taha. How are you?
Walaikum assalam. I'm doing very well.
Thank you for joining us as well. Now, Usman, the quarter-final lineup has been completed. Euros, it's all to look forward to. I understand that we can discuss them one by one, but just for the fun sake of it, let's start with Germany and Spain.
Yeah, it's a mouth-watering clash. As we say, it's final before a final. I would have loved that to be in the final, and we would have had a spectacle of a final. But now, because they're in the quarterfinals, that is how these draws have worked out. Both won their groups. Both are excellent team. Both are playing really attacking, good quality football, and both have bundle of young talent. And it is going to be extremely exciting. I would just like to put it, as Lemon said, this. Kids of Spain are going to face Germany, and I have no doubt that Germany is going to win. I doubt his prediction. I think Spain will start as favourites, although you just cannot rule out Germany. In Germany, they have always played some flamboyant football. Even in 2006, they started a brand of football which was outrightly different from their outdated defensive football. Now they play far more extravagant kind of football, and I think it's going to be a good attacking game of quarter-final. It's a knockout game. Also, there are some peculiar situations where you can win or lose a game. That could be the moment, one or two moments that could decide the game between these two. I think Spain will start as favourites, although they are facing the host Germans, and the crowd will be filled with German people. But I think it's going to be a mouth-watering clash. It's a final before a final, and what a treat it is going to be.
Well, I'm going to ask at the end of all the prediction lineup from our experts. That's going to make the real difference. But Taha, how would you rate the performance of both these teams, Germany and Spain, when you talk about the football that they've played towards their road to the quarterfinals?
I think these two sides have played the best football throughout the tournament. They're the two best teams so far, and the fact that they're facing each other in the quarterfinals and not in the semi-finals or the finals is a bit of a shame, because it would have been the most entertaining final so far. And I think the main performances from their attacking players, especially the young ones, Musiala and Yamal and Nico Williams for both the sides, have been the key for both their attacks, and they will also be the key in this tie.
But Taha, there's been a lot of focus on Spain, hasn't it been? Because we've been very interested to see their next generation of football players. So how they lived up to that expectation?
They've lived up to an extraordinary level. They've really taken it up a notch, and have already at 16 years of age, Lamine Yamal, he's playing over all the experienced Spanish players. He's he's starting over them even without the lack of experience. It seems like he's like 27, 28. He's playing at a level where you can't imagine him being just 16. And Nico Williams, another spectacular player who's been absolutely sensational in my opinion so far.
Certainly. Usman, the fact is that, the mighty Germans, let me say, there's been a lot of talk about the level of football that they've been playing. But once again, I don't know why it feels like, that they're all set to dominate all over again. There's some sort of feeling like that.
Yeah, they give a nostalgic kind of a thing of their previous legendary sides as well. They have an excellent coach, mind you. They have a really good coach. But one thing that may have set them back is that most of the players, that academy of players from where these players used to come out was Bayern Munich, and off late Bayern Munich hasn't shown such great resources in their own club level as well, and for the productivity that they were giving to the German national team as well. But looking at how they have started this tournament, the fancy football that they are playing, and players like Wirtz, Musiala, they all are very, very young players, and mind you, they have got some peak years ahead of them as well, and with the likes of their coach who is himself very young. So you can see this marriage going on for a long time, and this could work wonders for Germany as well. And this could just be the launching pad for a team like Germany, who can actually dominate the footballing world in the near future.
But take your pick, Usman. Where do you think this one's going?
I think it's pretty 50-50. If you just look at the brand of football both sides are playing, I think there is very difficult to separate the two teams. Germany has one thing on their side is that they're playing at home, they're unbeaten. Spain on the other side unbeaten, but one thing that goes into Spain's favor is that they are not too much fancied, so they don't have too much pressure over their shoulders. It's a young side, they have that exuberance, they have that extravaganza about their football, so they have nothing to lose and they can just go and express themselves, which can actually go in their favor. Taha was talking about Nico Williams. See, what Nico Williams brings to the side is unpredictability. This young side, which not many coaches or managers or management is aware of, can bring a sense of unpredictability for Spain. And if you look at the form side, I think they are the most informed team in this tournament. My pick would be Spain.
Now, he took a while to say the word, but I just thought he's going to say Germany, but he's picked Spain, so I think for the right reasons as well. But Taha, what do you think, Germany or Spain in this one?
I think this one's going to go down to the defenses. It's going to be decided by how both the sides deal with the attacking power of the other side. And I think especially with Germany's defense, I think they're going to be capable enough to deal with Nico Williams and Lamine Yamal on the wings and Morata up top. But I don't see the Spanish defense being as strong and capable to be able to handle Musiala and Sane down the wings and Havertz or Füllkrug, whoever starts up
So
top.
Germany for you?
Yeah, Germany for
Oh
me.
my word, there you have it. That's what you want from a youngster making a debut. Straight on, he's taken Usman to the cleaners. He's at Germany for me. So, but I think, like both of them said as well, Taha and Usman, look, the fact is that this is a match worthy of a final. Let's be honest, they're the two best teams right now in the Euros. I know all teams have made it to the quarters that we will be talking about, but Germany played outright classical football that we've seen from them as well. Then we move on to the next one, and that is England versus Switzerland. And that's an interesting one because Switzerland have played terrific football so far. England have just gotten over the line, so I understand that, but I cannot talk about England and not talk about Bellingham, who is right now, a super player. But Usman, what are your thoughts about England taking on Switzerland in the next quarterfinal?
See, I would say that England has been lucky yet again. They are in the weaker side of the draw. That is the first thing that they want. Secondly, they have probably played the worst football that they could have played in this tournament, yet they won the group. So what can one say about
Harry Kane to the rescue.
yeah, Harry Kane, Bellingham. See, if you're talking about the class of the players, they can give a run for the money to any team. I think they have the best squad in this Euro. And they have informed players, they have attacking talent, and if a player like Grealish cannot make the squad, you can see how much a bunch of a talent that this England side has got. They have Southgate, who has been at the helm of the affairs for past 8 years. So England has all the resources, they have everything. The only thing that they were lacking was left back, because they did not have a substitute for Luke Shaw. So Trippier would interchange to left back, who was actually a right back.
Well, Swan, there's been a lot of talk and pressure, not from, I think, different quarters, but English media particularly has been almost after Southgate. I mean, that's been a one-sided affair so far.
See, this is what is England media all about. They hype a lot, they overhype things, and that is how it is. Before a tournament starts, there are banner headlines that it's coming home, it's coming home. See, let the players play, let them express themselves. You are putting extra pressure on the players and the management now. Now Southgate is their favorite villain. That could actually play into the favors of the players, because all the center of attention has gone to Southgate, not to the players, whereas it's the players who perform on the pitch, and they have not been good enough. Okay, you can talk about the tactics used and adopted by Southgate, questionable, agreed, but as far as the execution is concerned, or the players that are performing on the pitch are concerned, they have not done any wonders. They have not given jaw-dropping performance by any means. They had an easier group, they usually have, but they qualified, that is good. They have qualified to the quarters, they are lucky, but they have got some state of respectability. But against Switzerland, it is going to be really tough. Their actual tournament starts from here.
Well, certainly. Taha, what are your thoughts about England and Switzerland? Considering the football that both of these teams have played so far to reach the quarterfinals.
I think Switzerland's football this tournament so far has been miles ahead of England. The unity they've shown, and the tactics, especially by the manager, they're using each other as pillars of support, and then they beat Italy 2-0, which is an incredible performance. And England, I think, have been quite poor, especially for the quality that they have in the squad and the depth. I think Southgate's really stuck in his ways. He's not changing his measures as well, his tactics, and he's just playing the same 11, switching just one player in the right-sided midfield role, from Trent to Conor Gallagher to now Kobe Mainu, who's all three of them are very good players. And I think Trippier, instead of Trippier, if he's not working, I don't feel like he's working. He should start playing a different player back there to compensate for the lack of left-sided players in their left wing, because Foden prefers to play on the right. Trippier is also obviously right back, so he'll prefer to play on the right. And the fact that Bellingham is playing with only two midfielders behind him is
right.
a reason.
I'll just interrupt you. We're going towards a short break, but stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Sports Extra, and just before the break, Taha was going to tactically analyze some of the tactics as well. Yes, Taha, please continue.
So what I was saying was that Bellingham worked at Real Madrid because Pochettino,
the other players that
Carlo Ancelotti used him as a number 9, a false 9 with three midfielders behind him to support, and he didn't have to worry about tracking back, which was why he was so effective. At England, they're playing him as a number 10 using two midfielders behind him, which forces him to track back, which is not very effective. He can play as a number 8 and he can be very effective, but when you're wanting him to give him a free role, you need to have at least 3 men behind him to track the midfield, because the tracking power of 2 men versus 3 men, no matter how good the 2 are, is going to be way less.
Absolutely not the same luxury. I think Taha analyzes a very brilliant point, that obviously it's not the same luxury. So once you put him in a different position and a difficult role, I must say, if you've got a track back, that's going to probably, take some of that exuberant performance out of you as well. But that can be the case. But if we overall analyze this, Usman, I'm just going to take your prediction before I move on to the next quarter, that Switzerland right now is tipped to win this one. Let me be very honest.
I won't be surprised if they win this game. I think they have a very well drilled army kind of a team, and they've started the tournament and they're just going on consistently, and they are not surprised with their performance by any means. They have been doing well off late as well, and in this tournament certainly they have showed what they are capable of doing, and them dumping Italy so handsomely in a knockout game is absolutely not a surprise to me. And they just dethroned Italians as Euro champions, and that was what was supposed to be the case with the quality of football the Switzerland team brought to the pitch, and what Italians were doing. They were just hanging in there in this tournament, and they were just taken out of their misery by the Switzerland side, and they are in good form. They are a well gelled unit, and they are going to give a very, very serious time to England. England has to be extremely lucky to beat this Switzerland in this kind of a form. If England go all the full throttle and they are back to their business and the quality of players that they have, and they express themselves as they are expected to do, they can beat Switzerland. But if on current form, certainly Switzerland already a hard nut to crack, but in this kind of form, I think Switzerland should beat England pretty in the 90 minutes, not even in the extra
I think
time.
the least interested quarterfinal that Usman is going to be interested in is France-Portugal, isn't it?
Oh, certainly not. I would love to see that, because of late this is turning out to be a good rivalry, especially in the Euros and the World Cups, and with this Cristiano Ronaldo, Mbappe's idol Christie, and this is going to be Cristiano Ronaldo's final Euro, as he has already stated, and there would be some injuries and some hurt from the 2016 Euros as well, and it's going to be a cracker of a game in the sense that it's going to be a very, very cagey affair. Both have good defensive units, both have creative players who are not outrightly going out to be so creative. So it is going to be a very, very tight affair, and it just seems that one or two good moments are going to decide the games, and both teams have those kind of players that can single-handedly turn the game in their side's favor. Bruno Fernandes, Cristiano Ronaldo, who doesn't know them. Over here it's Griezmann, he's a big match player. Kylian Mbappe is always there to decide the games, but on current form and the grittiness that Portugal has shown, and out of formness that France has shown, look, France has something to go by with them. They have entered the quarter-final without one or a single player from French team being on the score sheet.
Certainly, Taha, France and Portugal, how would you analyze this? Because obviously if you talk about the quality of football, then obviously, you know, both teams carry a reputation at least.
Yeah, both teams are, have very strong squads as they always do usually, and the problem with them is Portugal have not had a set system so far. They've tactically changed formations almost every other game. They've swapped players every other game. They've not set to a specific system. Some games Cancelo's playing left back, some games he's playing right back, some games he's playing right wing back. So that's obviously not easy for players to chop and change every other game and switch their style of play. And the centre backs as well, every other game Nuno Mendes is either playing.
Right. Special thank you to Malik Usman and Taha Haider for joining us for football. Now we move on to cricket, and joining us is our expert Saeed Mohammad Awais. Assalamu alaikum. How are you?
Walaikum salam. How are you?
I'm very well. So Awais, there's been a lot of talk about Chairman Pakistan Cricket Board, who has clearly given indications in his talk to journalists about what's going to be happening. If you talk about that model, the scrutiny, the domestic system, everything has been put to the limelight, and particularly the selection has been blamed for the T20 World Cup woes.
See, one thing is good. I mean, I really appreciate the Pakistan Cricket Board chairman specifically. Many less chairmen, I would say, who have been standing with the Pakistan team. I mean, specifically, even whatever happened with the Haris Rauf incident, he was there to stand. And the bravest thing what I loved was that to actually present himself in the media and say that fine, we are doing a job over here. And he really highlighted one thing today, Ahmed Bhai, that in the press conference, I guess he was in a talk with the media where he highlighted one thing, that it's just not the team which will be under scrutiny, it's going to be the Pakistan Cricket Board under scrutiny. We have been through the scrutiny process. Many of them are back to the home places. They are not the part of the Pakistan Cricket Board, and I'll see many of them should not be the Pakistan Cricket Board. One thing again I would request is just not the Pakistan Cricket, it's just not the Pakistan Cricket Board. It's now down to the domestic structure, it's now down to the club level too. The scrutiny needs to be done over here. The biggest issue what we face is about the domestic cricket. When we talk about your backup players, when we talk about having your Pakistan A, Pakistan under 19-2s, I have been speaking about that. You have got now cricket revival back in Pakistan. Where are that teams which used to play a side match with the international teams? Remember, there was Pakistan, PIA or SNGPL used to play a side match with the touring team over here, which actually highlighted a player who was doing really well in the domestic structure. He was being highlighted over there. Many of our international players came from that circuit. But when you have now there's a news coming up that there might be 1200 or 1000 plus matches organized all over Pakistan, all over Azad Kashmir. But the thing is that, again, I'll highlight over here, when you organize this kind of matches, when you highlight players from there, the guys who have been perfectly performing, you pick that players from there. where they have to, where's the vision? I mean, where are they going to be? I mean, you have a fast bowling camp, you got a wicket keeping camp, a good batting camp. The players picked from the batting camp might be 4 players, 5 players. They need to be back into the high performance center. After that, what's the execution plan? You really don't know what to do after that. They are not highlighted in the Pakistan Shaheens. They are not highlighted for the Pakistan under-19. It's again, we need to work on the domestic structure. We need to work on the Pakistan under-19. If you want to relate yourself to India, if you want to relate yourself to England, Australia, the domestic structure is 100 plus years old. I mean, over here, the biggest issue is that every year we change the domestic structure. That's the point where you can't get the results out.
Well, certainly, but Wes, I think two things are very particular. The chairman has clearly mentioned that the team is not being, the affairs will not be run on the basis of pressure created on social media, and only those cricketers are going to be given that opportunity to work for Pakistan Cricket Board who are obviously not a limelight of any media organization.
See, that's a good thing, I told you, I mean, because many less chairmen I've seen that who are actually blunt, and he's one of the ones. I mean, so hats off the way he has been handling the Pakistan Cricket Board, because I've always highlighted one thing: to be a chairman of the Pakistan Cricket Board, or whether any seat you're sitting, it's not an easy thing. I mean, you really need to grind yourself, and it is, I mean, because you feel the heat of it, and he has been doing an exceptional job over here. It's unfortunate, Ahmed bhai, I don't want to name anyone, but when ex-cricketers specifically who are still the part of the Pakistan circuit, they haven't been retired and all that, when they sit on a different TV channels and you see them scolding the players on their performances, and if I just count their performance when they were playing, it shows everything over here. So that's the point where I speak. I mean, you really need to be careful with the words. I remember once doing a show with one of the legends of the game. I mean, I was doing it, and he literally had told me one thing, that the players who were playing the World Cup over there, the previous World Cup I'm talking about, they literally messaged him and said that we hear you guys, what you guys say on, we need your backup, please don't criticize that, it hurts us. They're human beings, I mean, you need to back them up. I know many things have been going on regarding the captaincy thing. Unfortunately, some of the members who are sitting on the cricket, on the TV channels, even they speak about the grouping of the team. But the biggest thing is that the Pakistan, if they want to win the Champions Trophy, if you want to make a statement, you need to scrutinize everything.
But right, but on the great side of affairs, those who are not sitting have been playing, and we talk about that, the legends of Pakistan cricket who are involved in that championship that we're going to be talking about, where Pakistan beat Australia in a very interesting match. They chased the target of 190 in the final over. But Awais, what a treat to watch all of them again. I think it was almost nostalgic, the celebration from Saeed Ajmal, Yunus calm and collected, half century, Shahid Afridi taking wickets. It was a great sight to see, wasn't it?
Ahmed bhai, we all are 90s, and it's I would say your young time just gets highlighted again. I mean, Misbah Ul Haq, I remember on the mid-wicket area, there was a shot where it was a so strong punch that Aaron Finch actually had to be back. I mean, and Shahid Afridi taking that wicket, especially Yunus Khan, I mean, the class what he showed yesterday, because at one point that match was literally stuck. I mean, if you remember, Bretley was superb, Sharjeel Khan getting him out early on. So there was some pressure situation, and even in the bowling, if you remember, Australia, Aaron Finch started perfectly. I mean, the way Aaron Finch was playing, so I thought that this total might touch around 200 plus runs over there. But hats off to the Pakistani bowlers, and especially to the coach, I would say, Arshad Khan, the way he has been working with the Pakistan legends over there. The biggest game is coming up. It's on the 6th, if you remember, Pakistan versus India.
Right.
And it's going to be a lovely.
Definitely. Well, thank you, Wes, for joining us. That wraps up Sports Extra for me and the entire team. It's goodbye for now.